everybody, this is Perch. I just had a weird thing. Not that weird. The tensions are clearly high. I don't with politics, or it's the holiday season, or we're in a recession, or people are pissed at paying too much for a turkey. I have no idea. But anyway, um, I was just in a restaurant, and it wasn't like a restaurant, like a fast food place. But I'd gone in to pick up the order, and it's no big secret. It's Chipotle. So they were playing this song that I recognized. I had to look up by Owl City called Fireflies, and it's a I don't know, a light techno alternative song. Techno, not really. It uses electronica music in it. Anyway, I'm describing it terribly. It's a softer song, and I'm waiting in line. The line's taking way too long because people are taking way too much time in getting the food ready. And this guy who's kind of two people in front of me just decides to start bitching at the pussy music that's being played over the speakers loudly. Like, you should turn off this pussy music. Turn off the fucking pussy music. The guy just started saying, out of nowhere. I mean, or I came in. I didn't get the first quarter of this game, this story, but it reminded me in that moment because they're like, sir, your children players. This whole kind of drama plays out. The guy gets angry and then finally just leaves. Doesn't want to wait in line anymore, which was the root of the problem. But it reminded me, kind of watching this whole thing go down, the fundamental difference between real life and Twitter, or real life and social media. Because in real life, that person had no allies. Like, all the other people in the line, others, like the woman who did have her kids is like, come stand over here. Like, everybody's like, quietly edging away from the weirdo who is complaining about the pussy music. And on Twitter, immediately, like, half of the restaurant would divide into one of two camps, where one is like, hang on a second, what's the race and gender of the person who's making the complaint? Because that's going to factor into how I feel about this. Like, that's how it all plays out. Whereas in real life, you had black people, Mexican people, white people, all aligned with, well, this guy's a fucking lunatic. Why is he complaining about the music? And they were happy to see him go. Anyway, it played out very, very neatly. Speaking of conflict or arch enemies, which is not what we were really speaking about, but speaking about that, in comics, I've noticed this trend, and I don't like this trend, and I wish writers would steer away from it, where the writers are trying to be cute with the readers, and, like, wink, wink, we know you've seen this fight before. And so I've seen this recently with Batman Joker, and they've done it a little bit with kind of Captain America, the Avengers. Anytime you're bringing back a villain who's been seen before or is kind of the arch enemy of a character. So, like, Red Skull for Captain America, Joker for Batman, Green Goblin for Spider-Man. You have these iconic rivalries, these arch enemy rivalries. And the point to them is not to be funny and cute about it. The point of kind of the arch rivalry is, like, for the reader, for the person buying the comic, when, the Fantastic Four is about to go up against Doctor Doom, you're like, oh shit, things are getting serious here. We've moved on from, that corny Russian cosmonaut and his three magic apes, and the Dragon Man. And I know Dragon Man's a member of the Future Foundation now. See, I read the comics. But now Doctor Doom's entered the picture. Like, Doctor Doom's entered the chat, so some shit's about to go down. That's the reaction you want from the customers. You don't want to you can't have every single issue of the comic be Batman fighting the Joker, even though DC tries sometimes. But you want it to be a big deal when they fight, or when they have to team up for some reason, like they're doing, like they've done in White Knight, or they're doing in Silvestri's book. You want this to be like, oh shit, these arch enemies are teaming up. It's a big deal. Now, yes, obviously the readers know that they fought before, and obviously the readers know that in comics, the thing they kind of try and mask and hide from you a little bit is, this arch enemy, this evil, superpowered, maniacal, will stop at nothing to destroy the hero villain. He fails a lot. this villain kind of sucks because the hero's obviously not dead, and the villain's coming back at it again, and they fought for dozens and dozens of times, but still, as the reader, you're meant to believe the villain is a big threat to the hero. They're the arch enemy. They've got a real, the real rivalry that's going on. And what's happened lately in Western comics, and it's happening in both companies, and writers seem determined to do this, is they get jokey about the villain. The villain kind of goes, "Oh, I know we always fight, but here we go again." It's like the writer's trying to apologize to the reader of like, "Yeah, I know we're going back to this story again with this villain, so we'll make it funny by having the villain also complaining about the fact they faced each other a bunch of times, and you've seen it all before, and so here we go again." But the problem is, it's not funny. And for readers who are shelling out $3.99, $4.99, and have bought into this rivalry, they don't really want the meta commentary of, "Hey, we're just doing the same fucking fight we've done 500 times earlier," and the villain, even the hero and the villain are tired of it. Like it's one thing to have the hero go, "We faced each other before," like manga styles. "We faced each other before, but this time it's serious," or that "We faced each other before, and I've barely managed to survive each time. And could this be the time the villain finally achieves the upper hand?" I mean, kind of corny dialogue, but it's normal and good to have that kind of dynamic going on between your hero and your villain. It's stupid to have the characters, being self-aware to the point where they're mocking the battle that's being had. If the characters aren't going to be serious about it, why should the readers be serious about it? And you've seen this in the recent run of Captain America and in Ta-Nehisi Coates' run there. You've seen it in some of the Avengers titles where Jason Aaron is building up to this multiversal of doom and on one hand you're supposed to believe the multiverse villains are super destructive, bad, terrible people. But on the other hand, they have them cracking jokes about, like, here comes this shit again. Like, why would you do that? You're sabotaging your own efforts. And that's exactly how it comes across. It comes across to the readers like, well, if they don't care, why should I care? And this isn't, I know I've talked before about, weakening the villains and everything else, but in some cases, these stories are like with Batman, the villain is still doing kind of despicable things. They kind of had some of that with Joker War and other things. The villain is still causing a major status quo upheaval of the hero. But at the same time, you've got Batman like, "I'm bored of this," and the Joker, like, I guess we're gonna do this dance again, Bats. Why not? And it's just, I don't know. I find the entire thing extremely strange when they do this, and it's becoming more and more of a habit. Like I said, it feels like an attempt for the writers to say, "Yeah, we could be like the writers of Deadpool too, and we can also do meta commentary on how you've seen all this before. And if we do it, then you can't criticize us for going back to the same well over and over. We can go ahead and keep using Joker as long as we acknowledge the fact that we're not doing anything original." How's that for some three-dimensional chess for you, huh? How's that strike you? No, it's a terrible idea. But that's kind of where a lot of these interactions are landing. The problem is, like anything, you build up, you kind of put money into your bank, your trust bank, of what the readers are supposed to take away from the comics. And so if, in many cases, these rivalries like Doctor Doom, Fantastic Four, or, Green Goblin, Spider-Man, or Joker, Batman, or Lex Luthor, Superman, if you've spent 40 years building up this arch nemesis, arch rivalry, there's investment and value in that. You want to hold on to that. You want to keep that investment, pure. You don't want to piss on that investment by, at the last possible second, kind of going, "Yeah, but we also know all this shit sucks and you've seen it all before. But here we go again. You ready? Why not? Here we have it." It's okay if the readers and the fans complain about some of this shit. It's okay if the readers and the fans are, express exhaustion at having seen this before. There's nothing inherently wrong with that. That still, as a writer, you need to get out there and write the best story you can, try and hook them, whatever it happens to be. Let the cards fall where they may with the readers. If the readers and the fans have seen it before, express disappointment that they're seeing it before and they're seeing it a second time or 500th time or whatever it happens to be, then you want to prove them wrong, not by joking about, their exhaustion over the storyline, but rather by writing such a good storyline, they're excited to see it again. And honestly, it's kind of easy to do that. A lot of comic fans do bitch about everything, and they do complain about, I've seen it all before. There's that kind of parody of the cynical comic fan. Sure, that's definitely a thing. But you don't need to cater to it. You don't need to lean into it. You don't need to write in such a way that's like, again, it feels like the writer is trying to be too cool for, to like, hey, I know this kind of sucks, but I'm in it with you. You're writing it. Make it not suck. That's the answer. It's a peculiar storytelling technique. And anyway, have you noticed this, or am I just bitching for no apparent reason? You can let me know in the comments below, and I will be I will humbly accept what you find. Anyway, thank you very much for listening. Sometimes I end the videos these ways. I'm supposed to say, and thanks for listening, period, end, roll music. But when I say, and thank you very much for listening, and the cadence of the voice goes up, and then I'm left with like, shit, now what? Wash your hands when you use the bathroom. There you go, some life advice there. Invest in property. Sure.